What's up, guys? Welcome to the Connect 0007 podcast. And this is your host, Thaddeus Sims. And today is actually a very exciting day. A very important game for me came out, and I am super excited to play. It's called Kingdom Hearts 3. I just wanted to share that because I'm ecstatic. But getting to the podcast, the title of this podcast is pretty much Starting Conversation and Fear of Rejection. So before really getting into the podcast, I wanted to share another announcement. So the shirts that I have been talking about literally are almost done. And some of you guys will be able to, well, all of you guys will be able to see it and some new designs as well on my social media accounts, so Facebook, and of course on Instagram. So that's coming out soon. I'm super excited for that. And yeah, there's going to be some new designs. I think you guys will really like this. I'm excited for it. And it's been a few days in the making, so it's almost done. And at some point soon, I'm going to get a new color for you all. So the fun fact. Now, this one's a little bit heavy, but it's light as well. Probably would have been best if I shared this last week, but here we go. So the day of his assassination, Martin Luther King Jr. got in a pillow fight in his hotel room. Now, when I first seen this fun fact, I was just kind of like, what? And upon researching, it's true. It was like the first thing that pops up when I typed it in. So yeah, look into that. That was actually pretty interesting. I was like, okay, haven't gotten a pillow fight in a long time. There's a couple of people I would love to fight with a pillow. So let's jump into this podcast. So like I said, last podcast, there was a post that I posted on Facebook and Instagram, I want to say a few months ago, regarding people messaging me if they had any hiccups or they had any struggles of their own regarding connecting with people. And so, like I said, these next few podcasts are going to be dedicated to answering those questions because I feel like a lot of us, I know me, I have went through these and I feel like it'll help some of you guys, even if you didn't know you had some of these issues, bringing them to light and your awareness can help you. So for this one, a friend of mine's messaged me, and one of the problems that he struggled with, he said, starting a conversation in person is horrible for me due to my fear of rejection. So I really want to dive into this because I went through all of this, especially the fear of rejection part. The conversation part came later. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break this podcast or this part into two, not a part one and part two, but the topic. So I'm going to start with fear of rejection, and then I'm going to move on to starting a conversation. So the first part with fear of rejection is the fear of rejection itself caused me not to go through with many things, be it talking to others, planning activities, going out with others, etc. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. I think it started just... I would say it definitely started back in the time where I would call my dark days, like people would hurt my feelings and stuff like that. And I believe that also was part of rejection as well. Like that led to me being a person who didn't care for feelings or anything like that. And one of the things with rejection was I knew that was going to hurt the most. So I didn't do anything because I didn't want to feel any of that. And because I was so like heartless and stuff like that, I wouldn't do anything with people, especially if I didn't care about it. But I didn't do anything with people because I didn't want to do something. And I get my hopes up and then I feel hurt. And then, now I feel like a fool. That was a whole nother like thing. But even then, I had thoughts about people just kind of rejecting me. Like I would want to do something and immediately I would think, oh, no, they're probably going to think, crazy stuff, or, they're probably going to know that I'm like, a person who got hurt or things like that. I always thought of all of my flaws and all of the bad things about myself when it came to just people or talking to people. and just doing any activity at the time. I really want to say this, maybe this started somewhat end of middle school, beginning of high school, kind of around that realm of things. I like close friends was fine, but other people, it was just like, okay, they're probably going to know that I'm not good at stuff. Like, let me hold on. Actually, there's actually a good one. There was friends who played sports and I wanted to hang with them, not necessarily for the sports part, but what stopped me from hanging out with some of those people is that I feared that they know, okay, I suck at sports, and they're going to think, oh, bro, if you can't play basketball or football, then, why would I even want to be friends with you? You know what I mean? Like, you're garbage. Why would I associate myself with you? Like, I would have those, those thoughts at the time. And that kind of stopped me from hanging out with a lot of cool people at that time. Most of those people were friends, but at that time that stopped me. Even doing activities, which I thought would be really fun, but the people that I was going with, or could have went with, they were, in my eyes, they were really cool about certain stuff. And I just figured, I'm not really into that like that. It sounds fun. But even if I ask, they may say no because I'm whatever negative thought that I have for the day. So I had that for some time. And it wasn't until I want to say a little bit after high school that's when, again, I know you heard me say this, that's when I had to learn more about business. And one of the things was learning how to connect with people. And that was a big issue for me because I was just like, ooh, those people things. I got to talk with one of those and I have to be nice and I have to care. Kill me now, and I'm not over exaggerating. That's literally was my first thoughts. But I had to fix this about myself. So I want to share with you my process of how I fixed this, and I feel like it'll definitely help you out. So the first thing you're going to want to do is decide to get through the fear and not use it as a crutch to stop you from amazing connections and interactions like I did. So I had to decide, and for me, I had to decide in my mind, okay, you know what? I had to recognize, okay, I have to do this. And even if you don't have to, but you want to work on this, that's reason enough. Like, okay, I want to work on this. So for me to do this, I'm going to have to decide right now to get through this fear. And it's just literally a simple decision in your head. Like, literally, my thoughts was, okay, you know what? I'm gonna decide right here, right now. I'm going to get through this some way, somehow. I don't know how. This is going to be hard for me, but I'm going to get through it. And that's literally the first step. It has to start inside first. It has to start in the mind first before it can blossom, all around you. So once a decision is made, then that's when you're going to have to do something about it. Now, it doesn't have to be a straightforward step. Everybody is different. But for me, I just was like, okay, let me get around and observe people who I thought, quote unquote, didn't have that fear of rejection. Those who were, connecting with people. It was my mentor at the time. And then other people as well, they seemed cool and polished. I was like, okay, I observed how they were, how they talk with people. I'm like, okay, I could do that. So by observation, I started to get myself in that environment of people who I knew was, again, at the time who I didn't think, had that fear. And I started to let it seep in and just kind of, observe. And so eventually, with the trust of my mentor, I had to talk with him and let him know, what my issues was when it came to that. And like he told me, and like I'm going to tell you, and you always hear it, is you are going to want to read some people skills book, some self-help books. Again, I can tell you things, and I feel like for me with the podcast, I feel like at the most I can do is bring you awareness, but I also want to leave you with the investment, the self-investment and the self-work that you're going to want to do by yourself, for yourself, because that power that comes with it, investing in yourself and learning, you just get it so much deeper than, me just telling you, it's just very powerful. And honestly, I still read books to this day. They're just really good. And some of the old people skills books that I read in self-help, I go back on just to, learn some more things. I feel like there's still a lot I have to learn. So see, you might want to read some self-help books. Now, one of those self-help books in particular for this podcast that I would recommend is How to Have Power and Confidence in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. That was a really good book. If you want to take it further with more people skills book and just talking with people, there's a short book called The Art of Dealing with People. I believe that's by the same person. I'm not sure, but again, the name of the book is The Art of Dealing with People. And another people skills book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I highly suggest those 3 things. They will change your life. They did it for me. So again, but the first one that I would recommend again is How to Have Power and Confidence in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. That helped me out amazingly. Now, once you made the decision and then you decide to read a book, I feel like that's an amazing step, along with whatever else you do. It's going to help you out greatly. Once you get past that, I really want to pinpoint that at some point, you're going to want to reflect and see where it all started. And then again, decide to let whatever it was go and create a new version of yourself. Reflection is key. Now, what do I mean by that? To give you an example, I kind of said it earlier, but for me, it had to go back for me when I was younger. I think I wanted to hang with some cool people. This was like middle school at the time. And I was rejected, or they would say something or whatever, and it would like hurt my feelings or it would bother me and stuff like that. And I guess I never really talked about that or resolved it. It just hurt. And over time, I just kind of accepted it and went through with it. And it led to a seed, I guess, in my garden of, okay, I don't want to go through this. So it led to a fear starting with, okay, I really don't want, to experience this at all. So I was literally afraid of it. So that's where I noticed it started for me. And what I had to do once I knew that, I really had to understand, okay, dude, you were in middle school. Okay, things happen. And hey, maybe it was good that you didn't. Actually, it really was good that I didn't hang out with some of those kids because where they are at now, I am so glad that I didn't hang out. But again, I had to reflect back on that and look like, dude, you were in middle school. It's okay. I forgave myself. I understood what it was that I felt, how that made me feel, where that got me to. And I had to forgive those people and forgive myself. And then I had to allow myself to tell myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more friendly. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm not going to allow someone to hurt my feelings. So I had to, again, reflect and see where that came from, get to the source of it, remove that root, and then implant something else. So for you, it may be something different. So look at what it is, observe what happened. You're older now. I'm sure you have much more perspective on it, things that you can tell yourself, and then create a new version of yourself by basically inputting what you want there and sticking with that. Now, a side note about reflection, because I really feel as though a lot of people just ignore that and they really don't tap into that. And it's too much. But anyways, in this time and age, when it comes with self-reflection, a lot of us are distracted. We have our telephones, we have life stuff, we have bills, we have work, we have other people around us. We have so many things that are distracting us that we really have to make a serious effort and recall our power to remove ourselves from the distractions. Again, that's a big thing. You literally want to make a serious effort, not like, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow and then don't do it. Or, oh, I'm going to do this when I get home and don't do it. No, really make a serious effort and recall that power and literally just remove yourself from the distractions. But once you do that, you want to get in a place that you can reflect. And what I mean by that is get somewhere where you can't really be distracted. Keep your phone off. Don't really I don't know, just try not to be distracted. I know some of us have kids, but them kids got to go to school at some point. We got work. We have breaks, and it doesn't have to be a whole hour. It doesn't even have to be half a day. Some of us may need that, but 20 minutes will do you really well if you're really working on it. Now, another thing with that is, once you kind of get in that place, you just start to change your life for the better. You get to see and become aware of where you're at, what needs to work, what doesn't need to work, what needs to be removed. You just begin to broaden your awareness on yourself and on your life, and you're just more aware of what you need to do. And because you're aware, you have the power then to fix whatever it is that you need to fix, or allow in whatever you need to allow. Sometimes with reflection, it's not even a matter of removing things. It's maybe a lot of stuff that we need to add or incorporate into our life. So I really wanted to talk on that. So moving on to starting a conversation. So I really hope that helped you guys with the reflection part. If you need to, pause this and, rewind and, hop on that. But starting a conversation. Now, this one is pretty fun for me. It took practice, though. It really took a lot of practice, but it's super, super fun for me. So the first thing is, at the time, my mentor suggested to me to apply what I learned and make an effort to at least say hello to people a few times out the day until I was comfortable enough to start a convo. So what that means is when you go to Walmart, or if y'all a little bougie, Target, or, if you up there, Whole Foods, you somewhere in the mix and you want to do, a little, what's the name of the place that I go to? I can't think of it at the moment, but you want to go to your different little places. Just make, an effort to say hello to someone or say hi. You don't have to have a whole conversation, but you may say hello and keep it going. And then you may want to give yourself a goal, okay, I'm going to at least say hello to 3 people out the day. And sometimes you may not even be that person, but, at least start with a hello. And then if you can't even do a hello and that's scary, start with where you're at. Smile at 3 different people. And that's easy. You know what I mean? Look at a person, smile, and do that 3 times. Once you feel comfortable enough smiling, then say hello and keep it going. And then move it up to hello, how's it going? And, just work your way up. Again, this took practice. So this wasn't something that just happened overnight. This literally took me weeks. I think maybe a few months actually to do and to be comfortable with doing it. And again, this is going to lead you to get outside of your comfort zone. I believe I talked about this in a previous podcast. This is going to definitely get you out your comfort zone, but this is where the practice and this is where the growth and the application of the books and the self-help and investment, all that's going to come into play. It's really all about the application. So literally just start with where you're at. And that literally helped me out. Now, one thing that I will give to you that I had to learn later on down the line was icebreakers. And what an icebreaker is that I would want to have a conversation with someone, but I didn't want to come off as a weirdo or a creeper or odd, though I am odd, but I didn't want to just come off as you know what I mean? So what I would do, what I learned is a good icebreaker is compliments. You can find something on someone to compliment them on. And it's just a matter of stop focusing on yourself and looking at that person in a sense okay, this person may have a very colorful dress. You may not care for it, but it's very colorful and you like the colors. You can start a conversation, say, oh my gosh, excuse me, ma'am, I really love that color that you have. That's a really nice, choice or whatever. Or if you don't want to go that far, just say, oh my God, I really love that color on you. And they may say, oh my gosh, thank you, blah, 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 blah. Dudes, as dudes, we love what we wear, our hairstyles or whatever. Bro, I really like your hair. Oh, what? And good conversations. You can find something. So I had to learn icebreakers was the best way to kind of start and really kind of get in the door with someone. Just find something to compliment. And people love compliments. So A thing to really get in when it comes to ice breaking is that we have some friendly people and we also have people who aren't friendly. Now, for those who aren't, you have to build the confidence in yourself with practice and awareness of who you are. That pretty much they missed out on a great opportunity to chat with you or having a new friend. So, that sucks for them. You meet someone or you try to talk with them, or, give them a compliment. For an example, oh, sir, that's a really nice hat. Oh, thank you. It's kind of cold. It's like, oh, okay. And you just keep it going. It's like, dang, that sucks. You missed an opportunity to connect with me, or, you missed an opportunity to have a really good friend. You never know. But hey, sucks for them. And then those who are, it's just pretty fun. I love it. So those, when you start a convo and they're friendly back, it's up to you, really, if you want to take it further and suggest to stay connected with them or not, but no pressure at all. Literally, once you talk to people, you can feel the conversation. And for me, I've always just met some really cool people. I would just go out and starting a simple conversation, hey, I really like your hat. Actually, no, here's a good example. I went to Seattle sometime last year. This is the first one I can think of. I went to eat at a vegan restaurant, which was in the airport. Shocker. And there's a person that I was next to. And for me, I feel like if I'm close to you, if I'm kind of close by you or we're in the same proximity or whatever, I'm going to have to talk to you because it's going to feel weird. I'm not one of those people to stay on my phone and try to ignore you. It's just uncomfortable for me. I'm going to just say something to you. If you're friendly, we're going to have a good time. If you're not friendly, I feel better that I said something. So there was this guy. He was really cool. I think he was on his computer and, he had some food or whatever. And I was like, hey, man, that looks good. And he was like, yeah, it's whatever it was. And I was like, really? And we just had a good conversation about vegan food and whatnot. And he was friendly back. He asked questions. I asked questions. I asked, where does he live? Is he here on business? We actually had a very good conversation. I had to catch my flight, but I really wanted to stay in contact with him. And I was like, hey, man, it was really nice contacting you. Do you have a Facebook? I immediately just ask people if they have a Facebook because I just like to respect some people. Some people may not be comfortable giving their numbers out to a random stranger. So I'm like, hey, do you have a Facebook? Do you have an Instagram? And some people, most of the time, people do. And then those of them who don't, and it was a really conversation and I wasn't a creeper, they're like, hey, I don't have a social media, but I can just give you my cell. And we can just stay in contact. And I'm like, hey, that works too. So what I do is I literally just get their cell phones and we literally just go from there. So that always works out in my favor as well too. So he was a really cool guy. Still in contact with him. Great dude. Awesome family. And he's really doing a lot. So I must say. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. A secret is that people love talking about themselves. So if you ask them questions about themselves and come from a genuine place, I'm going to literally say that, a genuine place, because I think some people just try to talk to people and they're just not genuine. And you can feel that. It's kind of like, dude, why are you talking to me? But literally, be genuine. Come from a genuine place of wanting to know about them. And you'll find that it's super easy to start a conversation with people and connect with them. And it just works out. People can feel you if you don't believe that or not. So when you're genuine, people can feel that. And if you're not, your success rate may not be as high. But if you're genuine, you genuinely really want to know more about people and ask them like, hey, they do this. Oh, why do you do this? What sparked this? Or why do you have this? It's just literally you're just curiosity. Keep the conversation about them. And literally you'll just notice that it won't be hard for you to start a conversation. It'll just be natural. You'll just see people. And honestly, once you do it enough, people will start just coming to you and start talking to you. And you may not understand nothing about it. And it's just the vibes that you're on and people just love it. And boom, you'd have made really cool connections. And I will tell you, from someone who's been there with the rejection, with having a hard time starting the conversations to where I am at now, I have met and connected with some people who have I'm going to give you some examples, some real life examples. I've met some people, I think I said this in a previous podcast, who saved me over $20,000 on a project. I met someone who's taught me how to build my own website. I met someone who's taught me how to work, who taught me business, like legal business, some certain legal business things that I did not know. I've met really cool people who've connected me with others who were super cool. I've also connected with people, really amazing people, really amazing family, who wants to actually pay for me to go to Japan. And then I met some amazing people who also want to take me to New York. So it's just like the connections that you make are ridiculous. And it's just awesome. So if you can get past that fear of rejection and start those conversations, you never know who you'll meet. You never know how they'll change your life for the better, or vice versa, how you'll change a lot of other people's life. And that's a blessing right there. If you can, or hell, you change their life, they change your life, and it just works out like amazingly. You'll literally just be surprised, and you'll start to understand how amazing life can be and what all it has to offer. But it starts with you. So that being said, you all have a fantastic day or night, whatever time you're listening to this. I greatly appreciate you for listening to my podcast thus far. Also, again, there is the shirts that will be coming out soon. So be on the lookout for that. So with that being said, you all, I will talk to you soon. I wish you much love and much success in wherever you are at in life. I wish whatever you have been praying for and asking for, you get. And with that being said, I will talk to you next Tuesday. Later.